Yo, what's up? It's Hugo back with another video, and today I am reviewing Kayn, the new champion that is going to be added to League of Legends in probably the next patch. The reason I'm doing a champion review on this guy is because obviously, as you can see here, his little slogan is the Shadow Reaper, and if you didn't know, I'm a Zed main, so that's why I'll be doing a review on him and like just what I think about the new champion. First, let's get into like what it says right under his name and the Shadow Reaper, because it's probably something important. A peerless practitioner of lethal shadow magic, Shada Kayn battles to achieve his true destiny, to one day lead the Order of the Shadow into a new era of Ionian supremacy. That's okay. So already in the starting here is where I'm already like kind of excited, because so if you didn't know, actually Zed, my main right now, he is the leader of the Order of the Shadow, and he is like from Ionia, which maybe means that Kayn and Zed are related. But also one of his forms of Kayn, I've actually done a little research already. One of Kayn's forms is actually the Darken Scythe mode, and Darken is spelled just like Aatrox, like as Aatrox the Darkened Blade. So maybe Kayn is related to Zed and Aatrox in some way, because, and I kind of find that cool because I'm a diehard Zed main and my friend is Aatrox main, so I find that kind of cool. He audaciously wields the sentient, here it is, Darken. Yeah, Aatrox's weapon is the Darkened Blade, so I think that's pretty cool. He audaciously wields the sentient Darkened weapon Rust, undeterred by its creeping corruption of his body and mind. There are only two possible outcomes. Either Kayn bends his weapon to his will, or the malevolent scythe consumes him completely, paving the way for the destruction of all Runeterra. So his first ability, which is his passive, is called the Darkened Scythe. Kayn wields an ancient weapon and fights the dark and within it, Rost, for control. During each game, one will consume the other. Kayn hones his shadow skills by hunting ranged opponents, while Rost fuels his bloodlust by going toe-to-toe with melee enemies. If Kayn wins the struggle, he ascends to become the Shadow Assassin. If Rost is the victor, the Darken consumes his host and takes center stage. So, from what I understand from this, before we get into the video, his passive is that if he kills, like if he's attacking and killing ranged fighters, like ranged champions, he will get blue shadows, I guess you could say, and this will let Kayn take control, and which will allow him to turn into Shadow Assassin, which deals bonus magic damage during the first few seconds of combat with champions. So I've watched this video already before making this video, and so the Shadow Assassin actually does a lot of damage, so I think that's very interesting. Then from what I understand, if he kills and attacks melee champions, for example Zed or Yasuo, when he kills them or attacks them, he will get red orbs, red shadows, and he will turn into the Darken, which is when his weapon consumes him, and heal for a chunk of all spell damage dealt to champions. So like if you're say you're just like autoing for example a Zed, you're getting part of that health that you attack him for back. So like you can heal in his darken mode, so they're both like great perks. So let's watch the video for the darken scythe, his passive. Yeah, so yeah, here are the blue shadows he gets from killing an Ashe who's ranged. Yeah, and here he turns into yeah, Shadow Assassin. And look at that damage. This is what makes me so excited. He does so much. And yeah, here's Zed. Zed is a melee, so he just got this red shadow, which is the darken. So now when he clicks there, the darken will consume him, and he's now a darken. And you can kind of tell. Here, I'll make it full screen. The quality's a little bad right now, but you can kind of see that kind of looks like Aatrox a little bit. Like if you put Aatrox and that mode of Kayn next to each other, I think that there's a resemblance. Oops. So you saw that healed him for when he was attacking that Scion. So I think that so far I'm actually loving his abilities, and I'm probably gonna start maining him because like I don't know, but he looks like an awesome champion. So let's go to his Q. So his Q is called Reaping Slash, and so there's the logo. So Kayn dashes forward, striking nearby enemies at the end of the dash. Both the dash and the strike itself deal physical damage. Reaping Slash deals bonus damage to monsters. So because of this line, I was hoping that he would be a mid champion because I like to play mid the most. But so obviously from this sentence, he is a jungler because if he has an ability that deals like extra damage to monsters, he obviously is a jungler. Maybe you won't even need a leash at the beginning of games. So I think that's pretty cool. And so it appears there's no Shadow Assassin mode for his Q, so his Darken mode, this ability deals bonus % health damage against all enemies except minions. So I think that's pretty cool actually. So yeah, I think this is a really cool Q. So let's jump into the video part. Yeah. Yeah, and for this is his Darken mode. So he healed for for part of the damage that he dealt to that Scion. So yeah, I think that's a really cool ability. So let's jump into his W. So this is called Blade's Reach. Deal damage in a line that significantly slows all enemies hit. So he has a Shadow Assassin and a Darken mode for this. So Shadow Assassin leaves behind a living shadow that casts Blade's Reach in Kayn's stead. The living shadow blade has increased damage. So I think that's pretty cool because if you didn't know that, actually Zed's W it is called Living Shadow, and this makes a living shadow for that does the same ability, I guess, to to whoever he's attacking. So I can see how he's probably got something to do with the Order of the Shadow, with like Zed's army and stuff. So I think that's cool. Then his Darken mode, Blade's Reach briefly knocks up enemies struck. So you could wombo combo with a Yasuo maybe. If you were playing jungler, then a Yasuo was playing mid, you can come in for the gank and you can probably W a champion, and they will and then the Yasuo will be able to ult that champion because he can ult off airborne enemies. So I think that's really cool. So let's watch the video. Okay, so that's normal mode, like without evolving, I guess you could say. He actually doesn't do the W himself. He makes a living shadow do the W for him, so he can like get out of there. So I guess like maybe, this could be a really good ability for like kiting someone. So I think that's pretty cool. Now it's Darken mode. Yeah, so Darken mode knocks enemies airborne, so easily Yasuo could do a wombo combo off some champions. So I think that's a really good ability for being a jungler. So let's jump into his E. So his E is called Shadow Step. So Kayn gains a burst of movement speed and the ability to walk through walls for a few moments. When he first enters a wall, he will heal for a small amount and the duration of Shadow Step will be greatly extended. Kayn won't get the duration extension if he's in combat with enemy champions. Okay, so pretty much he can go through. So it's kind of like Talon's E. So like Talon's E is he can jump over walls, but I guess Kayn's E is that he's able to go through walls and heal for damage, and he also gets an extra movement speed. So maybe like he could really like chase kills with this ability like pretty easily. So I think that's really cool, and he even heals for it. And I'm not sure I understand how the duration of the ability works right now, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But he has a mode, it's for Shadow Assassin. He has a special mode. So Shadow Assassin. So his Shadow Assassin mode gives him he gains additional movement speed and immunity to slows when activating Shadow Step. So pretty much like say here's a good example. So maybe Lux is just threw her pop at you, and so you're slowed and you're trying to run away, and so this will remove that debuff and you can run through this wall with extra speed. So it's a really great ability for like getting away from someone chasing you or something. So I think that's really cool. Let's watch the video. Oh, so yeah, that's pretty much what I said. Didn't show the Shadow Assassin, unless that was the Shadow Assassin. I'm not too sure, but I guess we'll just wait and see for the champion to come out. Okay, so this is his ult. This is what I'm really excited about. So this is called Umbral Trespass. So yeah, this has a mode for Shadow Assassin and Darken. So Kayn may infest any nearby enemy champion who he has recently damaged. Trespassing into a champion makes Kayn untargetable for a few seconds. Reactivating the ability during this period ends the effect early. Kayn then wrenches himself free from the victim's body, dealing a burst of damage. You are briefly untargetable when you're inside the champion. Then when you leave the champion, you deal damage. So that's kind of like Zed's little Shadow Reap that he does after a couple seconds of his ultimate. Then I think it's a really cool ultimate. And then here, let's read his Shadow Assassin and Darken mode. So his Shadow Assassin is that Umbral Trespass can be cast from further away and resets the bonus magic damage from the Darkened Scythe after Kayn's exits his victim. So from what I understand, this deals extra damage when he's Shadow Assassin, and he's got a better range. So like if he's chasing someone, he can infest their body from a further distance. Then his Darken mode is Umbral Trespass deals extra damage as a percentage of the victim's maximum health, healing the Darken in the process. So he will be healed when he gets into the body, and this, I think that Darken mode would be good for really tanky champions like Cho'Gath, for example. So it won't just deal how much damage, it will actually deal damage off the victim's maximum health. So I think this will be really good for tanks, to like killing tanks. So let's jump into the video. Okay, so I see. So yeah, when he damages someone, he has like the dotted lines like Yasuo when someone's airborne, and then he can ult them and then go into their bodies. Okay, and then like so when he leaves, then his scythe comes back and damages the champion. Then this is Shadow Assassin. Oh yeah, you could see that the range on that was oh sorry. You can see on the range was much further than right there. So I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, and you can see that there was a little bit extra damage than when he came out right here. So yeah, it's darkened. Oh, okay, so did you see how it did? So Scion right here is a very tanky champion, so it did like as much damage as it looked like it did to the Ashe. So I think that's really good for killing really big tanky champions. And if you didn't notice, yeah, right here when he's inside this Scion, he's got like below 50% health. When he comes out, he has almost full health. So that's really helpful for maybe running away, because you can be untargetable, and then you can dash out really quick and heal for a lot of health, and maybe even you could get kills off that. So that I think is I think that so far Kayn is like honestly like he's just an overall amazing champion, and I can't wait for him to come out. Here, let's read like how it is in game with the Kayn. Kayn is a slippery, insatiable nightmare who uses his victims' bodies as a recreational vehicle. The Shadow Reaper's ult is horrifying enough, but even scarier is his tendency to emerge suddenly from any wall in the rift. Kayn's the only champ in League who can change his class in the middle of a game. If the other team's squishier champs are carrying, he can focus on attacking ranged opponents to become the Shadow Assassin. If Kayn's team needs a tankier frontline, Rast is the Darken for the job. So I think that's really cool. And so let's watch some gameplay of him. Oh, that's cool. So the Ezreal escaped from him, and now he just ulted and then he just got the kill. Oh, that's cool. So he just went through the wall to chase this Rakan, who just went through the wall, and with one of his other abilities. So I think it's pretty cool for chasing. And it appears that he does a lot of damage, so I can't wait to play this champion. So I think he's an awesome champion. Here's some tips and tricks for if you guys want to play him, or also like for me, because I want to play this guy. So Kayn and Ross are hungry boys, and you've got to feed them by ganking lanes and dealing so ganking. So yeah, he is definitely a jungler, and dealing damage to champs. Taking too long to transform means you'll fall behind in the mid game. Kayn's two evolved forms have their own unique trade-offs. The Darken has telegraphed crowd control and limited access to enemy backlines. The Shadow Assassin has very limited sustained damage and no hard crowd control. Peep their team comp, then choose wisely. So I think that's really cool. You can build Kayn depending on how the other team's team comp is. I think that's really cool. Umbral Trespass has a few very interesting interactions with other mobile champs. See an enemy Shen ulting to bot lane, get close enough to the Trespass board. Oh, okay. So if you don't know what Shen's ult is, he can teleport to any other ally champion on the map, and teleports to them. Say the Shen is teleporting over to someone, because like Shen's ultimate like saves people and like heals them a bit, like gives them a shield. So so I think that's cool, because Kayn can actually use his ult to get into the Shen ult, and then maybe pick up a kill from the person that Shen is trying to save, which I think is really cool. This guy is just such an awesome champion from what I've seen, and I cannot wait for whenever he comes out, because I am for sure going right to the store, buying a gift card, and buying this champion. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Feel free to leave a comment, subscribe, like this video. I'm gonna stick to the schedule I promised, and hope you guys enjoyed the video, and see you next time, next Monday. Bye.